Now we're live. Welcome, good morning, guys, at the Digital Container Summit. Today we've got Wolfgang Lehmacher as our first keynote speaker. Wolfgang, super excited to have you. We just spoke for 15 minutes already. Nice, getting to know you. A few words about Wolfgang. Wolfgang is the former head of supply chain and transport industries at the World Economic Forum. Wolfgang is an advisor, angel investor, thought leader, and practitioner in the supply chain industry. And if you check out and open your LinkedIn, the chances are high that you see one of his blog posts on your newsfeed every day. At least that's how it looks for me on LinkedIn. Wolfgang's going to talk about supply chain visibility today, especially about how much data we can handle and how we benefit from it. Wolfgang, supply chain visibility is an often discussed topic. How can people in our audience benefit from it, and how to increase their visibility? Over to you.
Thank you, Florian, and it's a real pleasure to meet you personally. We had digital exchanges in the past and worked together. And it's, of course, a great pleasure to welcome the audience to this keynote, which is about visibility. And the question I raise very often is it really all about visibility? Visibility is one of the key topics discussed today at supply chain conferences. It's about visibility and about resilience. And for me, the question is, are we overstressing visibility? Or are we overstressing resilience? And I think no, but what we should talk about is in fact supply chain performance. And supply chain performance is that everyone along the supply chain gets what is needed at the moment, at the place, and in the conditions they require it. But that doesn't mean that visibility is not important. And what is visibility? Visibility is data. In fact, today, we understand visibility as a seamless, complete set of data. And having said that, and thinking about the billions of dollars and probably the trillions of pieces moving through the supply chain, we easily can come to the point that, oh, this is so much data. Is it really visibility I need? And that brings me to the point where I say, maybe better blind than confused. And of course, this is a provocative statement. But in the context of performance, I think what we wish is that an intelligent system is our eye, and the intelligence focuses us on what is really needed to know, which means what we want is visibility on what is relevant. And I would like to speak about three possibilities which come through that kind of visibility, through the data and through the analytics, which have also been widely discussed in the context of COVID-19. And the three possibilities I would like to talk about are remote working, accelerated planning, and instant decision making. Remote working. Before COVID-19, many people were in doubt that we could really work remotely. But COVID-19 made the case. And I think for a lot of people, it's now obvious that remote working is possible, at least for a number of people. When we talk about supply chain, then we need to be reminded that supply chain management is to a large extent anyway a remote work, because we talk about the movements of goods across the globe. A dispatcher who is responsible for the deliveries of goods, he is not on each truck. Somebody in the sea freight department, not on every vessel. In the air freight department, not on every plane. So the people in supply chain were always used to the fact that they had remoteness to their activity. What happened with digitization, with data, with visibility, we replaced our phone calls, telex, fax, emails by the digital replication of the supply chain activities on the screens of our PCs and smartphones. This gave us a much closer, tighter remote control over what is really happening. And with digitization, with the digitization of the world, we got also a better grip on the ecosystem which holds our shipments, on the port environment, the airport environment, the weather on the sea. And now we can have 24/7 real-time visibility on the ecosystem and on the operational process through the analytics, which look at small and big data. And because our computers became so powerful, we can have a control tower even in our pocket. And this all comes, of course, and I would like to point this out, with risk. And we see an emerging industry around cybersecurity. And this because of the incidents we have seen in the industry over the last years. The second possibility is that we can now accelerate our planning. And again, today's volatile and uncertain times have forced us to shorten our cycles. Planning cycles of 13 weeks don't help us to manage situations where every day a government can decide to close borders or to put restrictions on certain products, etc. So with the set of data, which comes now on time and in full OTIF, we can analyze the situation continuously. And that allows us to tremendously shorten our planning cycles and bring it down to probably in many cases to around 4 weeks, maybe in some cases even 2 weeks. And planning needs data points. Planning needs benchmark. Planning needs also the visibility on what is possible. And seamless, complete data sets show us that we can compare different partners, whether it's on the road, in the air, on the sea, and understand whether each partner lives up to their commitment, to the service level agreement. But more importantly, it enables us, visibility enables us to improve performance, to use the data in discussions with our partners and help them to get better. And overall, we can use the data also to innovate. And what is true for the work with partners is also true for understanding what are the best lanes to use. And we can use the visibility on all of our activity to pick the best lanes, the best routes for our goods. The third area is about instant decision making. That's also a new possibility which came to us with data, with visibility. And about 5 years ago, I started speaking about intelligent networks. And what I meant was that the data cannot tell us only what is currently happening, which is commonly called descriptive analytics. But more importantly, it can tell us what will happen. Because the system is our eye, the intelligent system is our eye, the intelligent system sees the bad weather coming, and then we know that a disruption is possibly happening in that area. And another beautiful thing of visibility and technology is that I can make the knowledge available to all relevant stakeholders within the organization and beyond. Let's go back to the old days when we learned about a potential problem and we had to call 30 people to inform them, not even thinking about collective decision making. But now we can do that. And this allows us to prevent damaging condition excursion. Very important in the pharma cold chain, in the food cold chain, in the food supply chain. But I think it's relevant for every deviation from plan. And the move from descriptive analytics to predictive analytics, which is the anticipation of possible events in the future, can be enhanced by prescriptive analytics. And prescriptive analytics comes through recommendation engines. And these engines, these analytics, give us a ranking of options, a menu of options we can choose from to avoid the predicted disruption. And this allows us to take instant decisions and possibly also collectively. I would like to add a few practical tips around these three possibilities. Starting with remote working again. Here I use as an example point of sales management through demand signals. It all starts with the consumer. It all starts with the customer. The customer's decision is the beginning of our supply chain. And understanding what is happening at the point of sale and very precisely what sells and what doesn't is very important for supply chain planning and for supply chain management. And when we use our capability to tap into systems, into a point of sale system, and we enhance that visibility with sensors on the SKUs, we become, we get a full picture of the situation at the point of sale. And we also understand better what is happening. And if you put yourself into the context of Amazon and think about predictive analytics, they can predict, in fact, who buys what when. And some even think that they can use prescriptive analytics to influence the consumer behavior. So that's the point of sale. That's the customer interface where we can use visibility to understand the demand side or even stimulate the demand side. Another area is accelerated planning and the benchmarking. And here the logic is what you can see, you can't measure. And if you have no data about what is happening or what happened today, you have a hard time to plan what you should do tomorrow. And here is important is to understand the magnitude of visibility. We can tap today into any kind of system. We talk about enterprise resource planning systems, transport management systems, warehouse management systems, port systems, airport systems, and use that data and then enhance it with data from assets, whether it is the telematics system of a truck, the system on a vessel, and the system on planes. And in addition, we can add to all SKUs sensors. And this is on SKU level, we can do it on parcel level, we can do it on pallet level, we can do it on container level. And now you get an idea about the magnitude of data and the extent of visibility. Of course, it's very hard to get all this data, but we are getting closer to the point where companies have a close to complete visibility. And this allows, in fact, to benchmark any step, every step in the supply chain. And of course, that gives you an enormous grip on what you are doing. I spoke about early warning. I spoke about the ability to predict an event. And I think that is the holy grail, especially when it comes to the demand side. The moment when we see everything in the future, what will happen, then we are able to plan our supply chain in a different way. And this is about exactly what I explained before, this complete visibility, the complete set of data, the use of descriptive, predictive, prescriptive analytics, and then organize a company in a way that you can use all the intelligence you have in your human capital to make the best out of what the machines have found and proposed to you. And that brings me to a very important point, that with all the beauty and the advantages around digitization and technology, it is all only working if we bring in the human element, because it is us that build the machines, it's us that have to supervise the machines, and it's the machines that have to serve us. And this brings me to the closing and a need to have. A company can only leverage the advantages of technology, of visibility, of data, if it works also its culture. And this is a culture of integrity. There is resistance to give visibility across the system, but we have to break that resistance in the interest of integrity. We have to build a culture of transparency. And Why do we need to do this? There are operational reasons, which I have explained during my presentations, but more importantly, we need that transparency to uplift everyone in the supply chain and to create a space of trust and development and innovation end to end. If you would like to know more about the topic, Sanjay Sharma, the founder and CEO of Rombi, a California-based asset tracking and shipment monitoring company, and myself, we have authored an ebook which you can download. And yeah, here it is. It is, of course, related to COVID-19. And I hope you will enjoy the read.
First one from Richard in the chat. Which tools do you see playing the biggest part in creating this visibility in the future?
Florian, I had a bit of a technical glitch at my end.
No.
Do you need the human to bridge it? You had a question?
Yes, exactly. There are two questions in the chat. I think you can also see them. First question is, which tools do you see playing the biggest part in creating the visibility in the future?
Yeah, my answer is that there is not one tool which gives you that visibility. And what people may also have realized is that I hardly spoke about technology. What creates visibility is a complex bundle of technology. It is about what I spoke, which is descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., deep learning. But it's a lot about the core technology is, in fact, the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things, the idea of being able to control everything remotely is at the heart of visibility. And the people who are able to tap into all these existing data sources, these people will be able to establish the visibility. So it's more about the capability because the things will become more intelligent. So we will have more and more sensors on everything. We will have more and more systems in place. We will have more and more powerful analytics. It's more the capability to get this data. So I think if we talk about a tool, it is the tool to convince the parties around the system or across the system to give access to data.
Diplomatic answer. There's another question from Bao Jing. Hi, Wolfgang. I'm Bao Jing from the Platts Container team. Thank you for a great presentation. I'm interested to hear thoughts on the implications of smart supply chains on the issues of sustainability.
First, what is a smart supply chain? But I think I can assume that what I explained is a smart supply chain. And I have not mentioned one thing which is part of the smart supply chain, which is automation. And when I spoke about the point of sales and getting the 100% visibility about what is happening there, but even beyond, it gives us the possibility to automate, in fact. So that these signals allow to automate the supply chain and the workflow they trigger. So in respect to sustainability, I immediately think about automation. I think about automated vessels, automated cars, so autonomous cars, autonomous vessels, autonomous planes, which all help us to follow better routings. So we get optimized routes, means less distance, less carbon emission. And sustainability in the supply chain is a lot about carbon emission. There are also, if I think about intelligent or smart supply chain, this includes new technologies, for example, like drones. Drones are also, from an environmental point of view, very positive in respect to their impact. So this is one aspect. So you can route better, you have new technologies, new assets which are able to find better ways. Another angle is to look at the flow, because when you start automating part of the supply chain, you quickly realize that automating in isolation doesn't give you the return. An example is the automated container terminal. You have an automated container terminal which works perfectly if the terminal is fed continuously with containers. But that's not the reality. The reality is that sometimes you don't have ships coming in, and sometimes you have too many ships coming in. And if you have a manual terminal and you have labor, you tell the labor, now you can rest. And when the ships come, then you say, now you have to work harder. And we do a party on Friday night if you manage now to do this in the given time, which machines cannot do. But that brings us to the point that if you organize the entire supply chain in a fluid way, then the automated terminal will outperform the manual terminal, because people get tired, so they need their rest. You need to take into consideration the specifics of human labor. And a machine just continuously works 24/7, as we know. And of course, that gives us also a better result in terms of sustainability, because you don't want to have ships steaming at maximum speed, burning tons of fuel. You want them to steam at a speed which is economically and ecologically the best you can get. And that's when the fluid supply chain produces also much less carbon emission. It's maybe a bit of a complex thing, but the optimization brings carbon reduction, and optimization of routing and optimization of flow. But I would also like to use that question to make a point on the limits of optimization. And Maersk, the biggest container line in the world, said that automation and digitization and optimization has brought them probably 10% above market average. What we really need is a revolution. And if we talk about shipping, we need alternative fuel. When we talk about urban logistics, we need urgently new models built on electricity. Of course, we need also clean electricity. We need electric cars, electric bikes, but we need also to re-engineer our system. We need to think about the application of drones, etc., etc. So digitization brings us somewhere, but we need more to have clean supply chains.
Thanks a lot, Wolfgang. Maybe one last comment or question from Bao Jing. Just hand over to you. Do we already see benefits of this, or when do we see benefits? Maybe 1 or 2 sentences on that.
We see clearly benefits. Just imagine we had no computers, we had no internet, and we had faced COVID-19. So we were able to continue and get this stuff in the supermarkets. When it comes to electrification and the sustainability side, I think we have to speed up. I think looking at the environment, we see efforts. Where I see the improvement now is in awareness. I see a lot of initiatives and drive on the governmental side to help, for example, electrification. So benefits in there, I don't see that much, but I see a lot of activity.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Wolfgang, for answering the questions. And thanks a lot for everyone who tuned in. Yeah, this was the first keynote of the day. Thanks a lot for joining us, Wolfgang. The webinar and your ebook will be available for like on demand and as a download afterwards. And yeah, wish you a great day and yeah, talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
Thanks, Wolfgang. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.